Welcome back to another episode of North Country Oil Experts, which is what this channel has turned into the last few weeks. But today, we're changing some more oil. We have to change the oil on our Toyota Prius C, so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to make a separate, really short video on how to reset the oil life on the car. Not intuitive at all.
All right, so what we need is 4 quarts of 0W20 oil, 1 oil filter, and oil filter wrench, and a 14 millimeter socket to drain the oil with, and an oil pan.
All right, so John, what are we going to do first?
All right, well, let's go show you where to check the oil and where to fill it, and then we'll get started. So this is where we fill the oil, right here, 0W20. And this is where we're going to check it, right here. And this is just like before, where you check the oil, and it goes right up to that dot right there. So this oil's like 7,000 miles, so we're ready to change it. It's not too black, but the mileage is on it. We're going to drain it and fill it back up with clean oil to the top hole in the oil dipstick. Oh, and one other thing, you need a funnel. And a funnel. Alright, so we're going to drain the oil, and this is the bolt that we want to undo and drain the oil out of the oil pan. It's about 4 quarts. And then, once that's done, alright, I'm going to put this in and work on the oil filter, and then we'll get this to drain the rest of the way. I'll just put that in hand tight for now. And the oil filter is going to be right next to it. Alright, we're going to take the oil filter out. It's right next to the oil pan. It's black and it's right here. It's a small tight filter, so we're going to use these pliers to try to squeeze in there to help us loosen it to get it out. Loosen that hand tight. And now we got to move the oil pan back over. In case it splashes, you don't want to get oil on there. We'll let that drain out for a minute, and then we'll finish with the removal. And we're going to finish with the removal. This is going to be full of oil, so do not tip it until you get it down. And finish letting it drain the rest of the way. Alright. So the new oil filter comes with plastic on it, so you're going to have to take the plastic off. These come pre-lubricated, but it's always a good idea just to get a little oil right around the gasket so it makes a great seal. Alright, so now we're going to spin this back up in here, hand tight. Hands are slippery. So once it makes contact, we're going to turn it a quarter or half turn more, probably a half turn more, just to seat it well. That's a quarter. And that's a half. Right there. Alright, now we're just going to see how much oil finishes draining out of this. Should be just a little bit more to drain. Not much. Alright. I think that's as much as we're going to get drained without waiting a half an hour. And then we'll tighten up the nut and go from there. Now we can fill it. So now that we've drained the oil, replaced the oil filler plug, removed the oil filter, and replaced it with a new one, everything underneath is done. Now all we have to do is fill it and make sure we have enough oil in the car. This is where everything was. Right there. We'll take this unscrews, so we'll just take it off, put our funnel in there, and fill it up. Alright, so we're going to fill it up with 0W20 oil. This is pre-measured to 4 quarts. And we'll fill it up and check the oil dipstick. And that's the last of it. I got 4 quarts of fresh oil. Put the cover on. Alright, we'll check it one last time. And we're right at the top hole. Alright, so after your oil change, we always put the old oil that we took out back into the empty container, and all the used oil needs to be recycled. And you can recycle the oil at any auto repair shop or auto parts store that sells oil. And if they sell it, they need to recycle it for you. Definitely do not dump down the toilet. Do not dump it on the ground. Always bring it back to a recycle center, repair shop, or an auto parts store. Alright, and that's how you change your oil on your Toyota Prius C. About every 7,000 miles you need to change your oil. And we seem to change the oil once a month. We put a lot of miles on this car. This car has 180,000 miles on it right now.
Sure
170 something miles, 178. Yeah, 178,000 miles on it. We put tons and tons of miles on it. So constantly changing the oil.
All right, well, thanks for watching. And if you're curious on how to reset that oil life monitor, make sure to look for that video. It's going to be really short, really quick. Thanks for watching.
See you on the trails.